I've helped over 200 DIYers of the last 4 years turn their dark landscape into a vibrant nightscape that they can enjoy and share with their friends and family. Just like Doug, one of the DIYers I helped was super excited how well his landscape lighting turned out. And he didn't have any prior knowledge before he started it, and he did it all by himself. And then there's Mike, and he did it in one weekend. He started out with a ton of questions and concerns and didn't want to start the project yet before he had all those questions and concerns taken care of. But then once we were able to go through that, he was able to jump right into it, and he did it in one weekend. So how are they able to get these type of results without any prior skill or knowledge about landscape lighting before starting? The way they're able to do it is by having the right design. Now, design can be simplified into two things. The first thing is having the right lights, and the second thing is the placement of those lights. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to design your lighting. So what lights to get, what bulbs to get, how many lights to get, and then the placement of those lights. Now I know this probably sounds a little bit crazy that you could have a design that looks professional and you can install your lights as little as in a weekend, but you can do that by simply following a design framework. This is the exact same framework that I use in my landscape lighting company here in North Dallas. And if you don't know who I am, my name is Adam Keeler, and I am new to this landscape lighting scene. My background is in healthcare administration. I went to college, undergrad for it, and then I went and got my master's degree in it, and I worked at a hospital for a few years. I'm also a father of 3 kids, 2 boys, and then we just had a girl, and I'm a husband and also a Christian. But as far as landscape lighting goes and helping DIYers, so it all started in college. So while I was going to college, in the summers, me and my wife would come back here to Dallas, and I worked for a landscape lighting company installing lights. So here's a goofy picture of me. It was the only picture I was able to find during that time while I worked for that company. And then after I graduated with my undergrad, I did a few more landscape lighting jobs, but for myself instead of for the other company. And then we decided to actually move to Memphis, Tennessee to get my master's degree. And even till this point, I never really had that drive or passion for landscape lighting. And it wasn't until we moved to Memphis and I started my master's degree that one of my friend's dad, he reached out to me and said, "Hey, you've done lighting before. I'm wanting to do the lighting project myself. Could you give me some tips or tell me which lights to get?" And I was able to record some videos, and they were probably super crappy videos. I designed the lights for him, put together a kit, and then I sent it off to him, and then he sent me these before and after pictures. Now this is the first time I actually felt a spark for landscape lighting and design and helping DIYers. And that's when I decided to start a YouTube channel to help DIYers all over the United States. And I ended up getting a ton of comments, emails saying that my YouTube videos were really helpful. And then during the pandemic around 2020, I decided to start my own landscape lighting company here in North Dallas. I was working at a local hospital, and then it has grown to what it is today. So after designing many homes for this business, I realized I had a knack for design. So I decided I would help DIYers design their homes all over the US. So not just have my YouTube channel, but also help people with their designs. At first it was a little tricky because across the United States, there's a lot of different style homes and very different from what I'm used to here in Texas. We have a very standard type of style. But over the course of 4 years, I have successfully helped over 200 DIYers. And I even won an award at a professional landscape lighting convention in 2023. Now, all these results were possible because I followed a simple design framework, which are the 3 things that I'm going to go over right now. So those 3 things are the right light, the right bulb, and the right placement. All right, so the right lights. Having the right light is crucial, not only to have good quality lights that will last a long time, but you really need the right light for the job. So for example, I used to use these aluminum lights at the very beginning when I started my business, and when they're new, they look really nice. And I really liked them. I thought they were awesome. They were also very inexpensive. But the problem was, after about 4 years, the paint would start coming off. And then if the bulb died, you couldn't unscrew this because it would seal shut. And so you'd have to completely replace the light. And so I ended up testing out a ton of landscape lighting over the years. Some I was curious, and some companies would send me their product. And I have a bin full of landscape lighting that I have tried, and I've come to the conclusion of which lights I like the best and the ones that I recommend. As for the right light for the job, let's say you're lighting up the front of your home, you might think like some DIYers think and go, maybe if I put a floodlight on the house, it'll be able to cover a little bit more surface area, I'll use fewer lights. But the problem is this is what it ends up looking like. There's not a lot of contrast between light and shadows, and it's just kind of spreading light everywhere. Another example is if you're lighting up your walkway with the wrong lights, it could look something like this. But if you use the right lights, then your home could look like this, or your walkway could look like this. Going back to Doug, an example that I gave earlier, so he wasn't sure how to light up his home because he's got that roof right over the garage, and then he didn't know what to light up or how to light up the garage as well. He didn't know what lights to use. So after getting my help and getting the right lights, this is how it turned out. All right, so the right bulbs. So there are drop-in bulbs, which are these. They go inside of the fixture, or you have something like this where it's integrated, completely built in, or you have dedicated. You have watts, you got lumens, you got Kelvin, you have beam spread. There's a lot of things that come with bulbs. So the reason why the bulb is so important is if you put the right light but the wrong bulb, it'll turn out looking something like this. So the simplest way I can explain it is most often we use the color, or Kelvin. It's 3000 Kelvin. It's a warm white. It's got a little bit of white, a little bit of warm, and so it's like a really good sweet spot. If you like a little bit warmer, like some people do, then you go to a 2700 Kelvin. Or if you want kind of the bright white, very few people like that, but if you want that, then it would be more of a 4 to 5000 Kelvin. And honestly, besides your personal preference, it really comes down to the house or trees and the colors that they are, how tall they are, etc. So I'll kind of explain that. For example, stone looks a lot better with a 3000, maybe even a 4000 Kelvin rather than a 2700. So if you see in this picture, you can see that the stone really pops. You don't want to like wash it out. You want to bring out the color that it has. Or the cypress tree, it's kind of got this frosted color to it. And so if you put a 3000 or a 2700, it would kind of wash it out and make it not look very vibrant. But if you pick a color that kind of matches with that accent color, so like a 5000 Kelvin, it will bring that color out and it looks really pretty like it does in this picture. And then if the object is taller, the house or the tree is really tall, then you want a brighter light. So you want a higher wattage, brighter lumens. So lumens just means how bright it is. So if you can get something brighter, it'll be able to reach all the way up to the top of those trees or high up into those trees. Take this homeowner, for instance. He was really concerned about the color and what the best color was for his home. He wanted a little bit more warmer color. That was his preference. And after working with me, we decided to use the 2700 Kelvin, and it turned out really well. All right, so the last thing is the right placement. So just like with the bulb, if you have the right light but the wrong bulb, it doesn't look very good. If you have the right light, the right bulb, but the wrong placement, then it won't look very good. And so you need all three of these things. And still to this day, in my landscape lighting business, it used to be me, but now it's one of my employees will actually go out at night after the install where we know we've designed it well, we've installed it well, but we want to make sure that at night it looks like what we imagined it would be or designed it to be. And so we still go out there and make small adjustments. And even moving the light a couple inches, angling the light, sometimes even swapping out the bulb makes a huge difference. So when thinking about placement, two examples come to mind. The first is actually a YouTuber out in California. There was a video of his where he shows what lights look like on columns. And so you can put it in the front or on the corners. And so just having the same light and the same bulb, but a different placement, you can get a completely different look. The second example is a brick wall. So just by adding 2 extra lights, instead of putting the lights in the center of the brick wall and having the shadows on the outside, you can put the light on the outside and have the shadow in the middle, and it kind of frames the wall, making it look so much better. And to hit home how important this is, Most people only think of the right light and the right bulb and rarely think of the placement. But the placement is very important, something that you should definitely not forget. So take this homeowner, she's a DIYer that I helped as well. She didn't know what lights to get, what bulbs to get, how many lights, or what placement to put them. And naturally, one of the things that she and a lot of DIYers think about is putting the light under the window. Now, if you put it under the window, it looks more like this, which looks really funny and doesn't look quite right. And so after getting my help, we were able to design her landscape lighting well, not have the lights under the window, and framed her house, and it looks like this. Now you can easily do this with our design help framework. Now just imagine if you had the right lights, the right bulbs, and you had the exact number that you needed and the right placement. How amazing it would be. So from here you can go two ways. You can try to figure it out on your own, try to get the right lights, the right bulbs, the right number of lights, and the right placement, or you can get my personal help. Now this is where I can save you a lot of frustration through the mistakes that I've made and also the mistakes that I've seen DIYers just like you make over the past few years. I want to shortcut your path to getting your amazing landscape lighting. And that is why I created my personal design help. This is where I help you with the design, getting the right lights, the right bulb, the right number of lights, and the right placement of lights. I want to help you with this because I know how overwhelming the process can be, and I know how big of an impact it is when you do it right. This actually reminds me of somebody that I helped. He actually lived really close to here, about 15 minutes away. His name's Chris. And he reached out to me and he said, "Hey Adam, I'm really confused and I think I'm getting more and more confused the further I get into this because I want to do it right. I want to buy the right lights, but there's so many different types of extensions and accessories and different types of lights and there's so many things to choose from. How do you know which one to choose? Because it's just getting so overwhelming. I can't make heads or tails of any of this." I was able to help him with his questions, design his lighting, and since he lives so close, I was able to deliver those lights to him personally. I want to help you design your landscape lighting, even if your project is planned out for a few months from now or a year from now. Many DIYers don't actually start on their project right away, just like this example of Eric. He got my help, had my design, and then much later was able to implement everything. Now this is only for DIYers that are finishing up their research and wanting to take the steps to start their landscape lighting project. And it is not for DIYers who want to just do a lot more research and think about it more, not sure what they want or even know if they want to do landscape lighting. So on a practical level, my design help comes with 3 personalized designs. So I actually split it up into 3 designs because I have the Money Saver, which is kind of the budget conscious design where I design based on lighting that would look good but the minimal amount of lights necessary. Then there's the most popular. Now that design has a lot more lights, but it doesn't have all the lights that you could possibly have. It just has the recommended amount of lights for your project. And then there's the everything design. And I have this because a lot of people wonder, like, what if I did all of it? Like, what would it look like? And so this allows you to know what it would look like to have all of the lights that you could have in your property. And so those 3 designs, you can pick whichever one you want. I just provide those. I also provide where the wires are going to be run. Some DIYers I've worked with in the past have wanted kind of an outline of where the wires are going to be run from the transformer to all the lights, in the flower bed. So I draw that out for you. I also point out some obstacles that you'll probably face in your installation just to make it a little bit easier. And then I have a couple videos of how to install the transformer and how to wire the transformer. And I provide the list of all the lights you'll need, bulbs, and how many, which lights they are, and where to get them. If you're ready to do your landscape lighting and do it right and in a weekend, and you're wanting to take your landscape lighting to the next level, then I would love to help you. So all you need to do is click the link in the description below, or you can email us at diy@aklighting.net. And for those of you who want to continue researching, I do have a course where all of this is compiled into a course. And I go through examples and it's a 5-step process. And then I also have as a bonus 125 examples of Front yards, backyards, trees, you name it, it is in there. And if you're not ready yet, that is totally cool. Continue to watch my YouTube channel. I have a lot of videos on here. I will still be posting videos on here, and hopefully these videos will be helpful for you on your journey. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.